No matter if points are gained or points are lost, there will be much to discuss. For analysis regarding tonight's Winnipeg Jets game, here are Dave Minuk, Ezra Ginsburg, and your host, Drew Mandel. The Illegal Curve post-game show starts now.
Good morning, Winnipeg. Good morning. Oh, God, I'm still in morning mode, Ezzy. That goes to show you it's been
It's almost morning.
A long day. You're right. We are 14 minutes away from it being the morning, but good evening, Winnipeg. Good evening, Manitoba. And for all of those joining us live somewhere on the interweb, good evening to you and welcome to the Illegal Curve post-game show. I am your host, Dave Minuk. I'm a little exhausted. This is like my 18th straight hour of working, so it's been a long day. Ez was in Mexico. Now he's back in Winnipeg. That's Ezzy Ginsburg.
Good to be back.
He's back in the house. Everybody has been missing you, Ez, and
I've been missing everybody. It was weird. Like I was following along on my phone. I was trying to keep my phone, back in the room. Trying to be in the moment, Dave. Be present.
Be present.
Be with the family in Mexico. But I had to follow along. Missed a couple games, Jets versus the Wild. That wasn't a very good one. Obviously, the Jets losing 4-1, but obviously the Canucks game was a good one with Sam Gagner, taking the spotlight with his 1,000th career NHL game, and then caught the show this morning with you and JT and a little bit of former Moose captain Nolan Baumgartner. So, it's good to be back. I got a lot of sun. It was a great trip. It was my first time on a plane in almost 3 years. But, it was, as I said, it was a great family trip, but we're back, baby, and we have another Jets win to talk about.
Yes, so as he returns and the Jets get back to their win-streaking ways, and that's exactly what happened tonight in Edmonton, Ezzy. And there was some drama, and it has been a long day. And a lot of these people, they get credit for being part of that long day because they, of course, joined me this morning and Jim Toth for 2 hours of the Illegal Curve hockey show, which was a lot of fun, and we had a really good time. And as you said, talked to Moose assistant coach Nolan Baumgartner, and we had a great conversation with him about the Moose. Although when you're talking about the Moose, you don't know if you're talking about the Jets that have Moose on the team or the Moose, the AHL club of Winnipeg. But either way, Ezzy, lots to talk about with both teams and the ice. They won again as well. Team Canada won. It was a hectic and exciting, and it was my niece's Emily's first birthday today. So
happy birthday, Emily.
Yeah, I wished her happy birthday. I went to the house, went for a little party, and then managed to get to the Moose game. So it was all happening today. And like I said, let's get to the Jets and Oilers game. And before we begin the actual look at the game, as the biggest question mark, the one that nobody had an answer to, was the status of Josh Morrissey. And it's interesting because no media traveled to Edmonton for this one trip. So there was nobody from the Sun, nobody from the Free Press, nobody from Sportsnet, nobody from TSN. So it was interesting because I wasn't even sure if we were going to get insight because the only people there were Paulie Edmonds and Mitch Clinton. I don't even know if Mitch was there, but I know Paulie Edmonds was there. So we didn't know.
Timothy Thomas as well, of course.
Right. And so I didn't know if we were going to get an update or if they were going to keep that one. And even it was funny because the media availability with Rick Bowness was basically all Oilers. It was like watching the broadcast tonight, actually. It was all about the Oilers because it was like the first question, I don't even remember what it was, but the second two questions were all about the Oilers. It was like 1:50 media availability. And I was like, okay, so it didn't tell you anything about Josh Morrissey confirming that he's going to be playing. But the only thing we did learn was that Josh Morrissey would be playing, which was huge. We knew last night, I said it because I was at the Moose game, that there was nobody recalled. And of course, there was nobody recalled for two reasons. One, the Jets are at the 23-man roster limit. Plus, they're also at the cap limit because they've got 29 guys that are currently either 23 on the roster, 6 on IR. Everybody's counting towards the cap. So they've only got about $738,000 in cap space approximately. And the cheapest guy on the Moose, I believe, is about $750,000. So they didn't even have any room to make a recall anyways, as they didn't. And it led you to believe that because they didn't take in insurance, even though they had Kyle Capobianco, the expectation was that Josh Morrissey was most likely able to go and he was going to test it out. So the only things we learned today were Josh Morrissey was going to play, and that's a kind of a sigh of relief. And he looked good once again, and he was going to have to be on his toes to handle 97. And then the other thing we learned was that Christian Reichel was going to make his season debut coming in for Michael Eyssimont. So a couple of interesting lineup nuggets that we learned earlier this morning for the Jets ahead of the game against the Edmonton Oilers. And look, Edmonton played last night in Seattle, so the Jets were actually waiting for them to come home to Edmonton for today's game. But the reality is, with the exception of Leon Draisaitl, who's missing for the Edmonton Oilers, and that's no small task, they still have a guy named Connor McDavid, who's, as we know, one of the best players in the world. Sorry, the best player in the world. And you saw it time and time again tonight in the game.
Yeah, and he was trying to do it all himself, I thought. And he is one of the players in the league that is entitled to do that, right? Like, he's the best player in the world right now. So you can have the game on your stick, but I just thought he was trying to do that a little bit too much, maybe because you didn't have Leon Draisaitl. But that theory doesn't really hold up, Dave, because as you mentioned, they thumped the Kraken in maybe their most dominant win of the season. And the Oilers and Kraken are neck and neck right now. I believe the Oilers are still third in the Pacific, but I mean, it's going to be back and forth in that division. That division, is really wide open. I mean, you expect the Golden Knights to, stay at the top of the division, right, Dave? But I mean, it really is wide open. Considering the Golden Knights are going to get healthier, I would still expect the Golden Knights to, stay at the top with the lead that they currently have. But yeah, you're absolutely right. McDavid was really good, and it just seemed like, to me in this game, it seemed like when McDavid was on Josh Morrissey's side, Morrissey was doing a much better job at getting sticks in those lanes and kind of getting in his face. We saw it at one point in the third period. He really posterized Dylan DeMello, who of course is on the opposite side. And it was just one of those games where, Jim Toth said it on Twitter, like, it's just sometimes those games they're not all going to be diamonds, right? And the first period when Neil Pionk scored the goal on the power play, and we'll get into that, but I mean, it was a freebie power play. I mean, that was clearly not puck over the glass. I mean, it was puck over the glass, but it was off the boards. And it looked like Axel Jonsson-Fjällby. We were talking about it, Dave. We were watching it here at your casa in River Heights, beautiful River Heights. It's great to be back. I've only been back in the Peg for, I guess, 3 hours now. But I mean, that was clearly not a penalty. And I was thinking to myself as I was watching that, because I watched the first and then came over here for the second, of course. And you're thinking that, the Jets are going to capitalize here. They only had one shot on net at that point in the game. And again, getting a little ahead of myself here, but it was a beauty pass by Kyle Connor. So even though Connor McDavid was doing Connor McDavidian things on the ice, Connor Hellebuyck was up to the task. And look, Kyler Yamamoto hits the post, late in the third period. So that game could have easily headed to overtime, but, give the Jets credit. I want to talk about Kevin Stenlund because he was tremendous tonight. The Jets penalty killers were excellent tonight. Adam Lowry, David Gustafson, thought Brendan Dillon, even though he gets the 4-minute double minor at the end of the game, I thought he was really solid tonight. We talked about Morrissey. He obviously was not 100%. He was really good, even though he gets the rare no-point game. We're just not used to seeing that. He usually gets at least one assist every game. So, yeah, it was a gritty game for the Jets. As you mentioned, Dave, at certain points, you actually thought you were watching the Moose out there, considering that, you're getting into the Christian Reichels and, nothing against Christian Reichel, but he's just not a guy that, you expected to be playing in the NHL much this season, right? So great victory for the Jets, but you got to give obviously a ton of that victory and a ton of that credit to Connor Hellebuyck.
Yeah, and it's funny actually, because that's where I was going to go, Ezzy, and you credit Josh Morrissey for kind of fighting through whatever he is fighting through to play in tonight's game. Obviously, they'll have a day off tomorrow, but I mean, that game was won or lost because Connor Hellebuyck was on his game and was ready to play from the outset, because the Jets weren't. I mean, this is a tendency now, at least. Again, I don't want to say it authoritatively because I'm not 100% accurate or 100% certain, I should say, as to the veracity of what I'm about to suggest. But it seems like
great word, veracity.
Thank you.
Love that.
It seems like, well, I'm trying to make sure I'm new and improved for 2023. I'm going to leave the old Dave Minuk in the past and start a new.
I'm going to start working out 5 days a week. I'm going to start eating less junk food. Hold on a second, by the way. What do we have? 5 minutes before 2023?
Sanko Minui. Sanko Minui.
Just got to get something here. I forgot I had this here. Hold on.
Ooh, good sound. Big Daddy's got a pop. He's ready to go. He's ready to go. He's feeling
got a juicy IPA here. Let's welcome in 2023 the right way, boys.
Yeah, well, there you go. And girls, of course, Ezzy. Come on. But anyways, we've got to give credit to Connor Hellebuyck because going back to the point I was trying to make, Ezzy's beer sound distracted me, but the Jets haven't started on time. I mean, that's become a constant theme, at least 5 or 6 games now, where the Jets had one shot Now, maybe the Jets are playing a little rope-a-dope. Maybe that's their plan, lure them into the false sense of security and then score on your second shot. But that's, 10 minutes. What was it? Something like that. 10, maybe even 13 minutes in. I think the Jets had one shot in the first period. And obviously the Oilers had a power play, but still, I mean, that's not an ideal set. And the Jets had a power play too. They just didn't take any shots on the power play. And it's not a great situation. We understand it. We know the Jets lack in forward depth right now. And it's interesting because I was saying to Ezzy during the broadcast that we were watching, sorry, not this broadcast, was the Connor McDavid's salary cap is $12.5 million. From Adam Lowry to Kevin Stenlund, those 9 forwards, are $9.7 million.
Because you're taking out, and we were talking about that, as you mentioned. We should mention you're taking out obviously Mark Scheifele, you're taking out Kyle Connor, you're taking out Pierre-Luc Dubois, and who else are you taking out?
No, that's it. That's it.
You're taking out the three guys that make $6 million and up.
Yeah, there's 6. It's 6, 6, and 7, right? And change, of course. And so you've got those guys making 19, and you've got the remaining forward group making about 9. And again, 3.2 of that, for the record, is Adam Lowry. And the rest are 750, 750, 7.25, 8.25. I think Gustafson is at 950. But anyways, the point is that there isn't a lot of salary right now with this Jets group up front. So we understand the limitations. And that's why, once again, you're not surprised when Connor Hellebuyck has to do that. And you got to think, it was interesting because one of the answers that Rick Bowness did talk about, what the first question he was asked was, do you get excited for playing on New Year's Eve? And his response was, yeah, of course.
We got a 2-minute warning, by the way, from Kenny's water bottle. So,
well, there we go. 2 minutes.
Two more minutes. Let's make these last 2 minutes of 2022 the best.
Joe from Winnipeg saying, so what Icy Dave is saying is that the Moose plus Hellebuyck just beat Edmonton 2-1 in regulation. LOL. Well, I mean, I'm kind of saying that, yes. There, as he said, there's a lot of players who have worn antlers, and not that it's not like, look, Connor Hellebuyck wore antlers, but that was a long time ago. Kyle Connor wore antlers. That was a long time ago. But a lot of these guys wore antlers, not that far away, and they're beating the Edmonton Oilers. So you got to give this team credit for being able to do what they were able to do. And
Dave, the bottom 6 of the Jets tonight. Forget the fact that you had guys that have played on the Moose in the Jets top 6, right? No, hold on. You didn't have anybody in the top 6. But the Jets bottom 6, so you've got 6 forwards, obviously. There's only one forward in the bottom 6 who hasn't played for the Moose, and that's Axel Jonsson-Fjällby, who was acquired on waivers, right?
Right.
So almost the entire 3rd and 4th lines were Manitoba Moose. And then you could also throw in, Ville Heinola on the back end, right? So just incredible what the Jets are doing right now, right? Like I said to you at some point in the 3rd period, like we should just remind our viewers how many Jets are out there, as if everybody needs a reminder how many guys are injured with, Ehlers and Wheeler and Perfetti and Schmidt and the list, Appleton. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Right?
Yeah. So it's really ridiculous. And, before we get into the goals, the thing that stood out to me was this was just a game in which the Jets were tight checking, and they just made it difficult for some of the Oilers' best players. I mean, obviously Connor McDavid got his chances, but I mean, this was a game that I think they just rallied around Connor Hellebuyck, and they knew they couldn't let him down. I mean, Klim Kostin, first off, hopefully he's okay. I mean, I don't think he's going to be playing anytime soon the way he went into the boards there. But until Klim Kostin scored there, Hellebuyck was perfect, right? Happy New Year, baby. It is officially 12. I guess I got to stop talking here.
I'm like waiting.
I'm going to have another drink. I'm going to have another sip.
I'm like patiently waiting for you to stop. I'm like, everybody in the chat is wishing everyone Happy New Year. They're celebrating. 2023 has arrived, as Rob Somerville has said, as he's blathering on about God knows what.
Happy New Year, everybody.
I mean, the chat
let's make 2023 the best year ever.
Really? Okay. I'm happy with that.
Or a great year.
Well, let's make it the best year ever for Illegal Curve hockey. That's
everybody that's watching the postgame show right now, or who may watch the postgame show in the future. Especially Spencer Sutton. He's a beauty. Well,
of course. That's why I told Spencer I'm not delivering his stuff until you're back, so I can at least bring you with me.
We'll do it.
That will be an epic delivery.
We'll show up in my minivan. He'll see how cool I am with my kids' car seats in the back.
Is that street legal though, Ezzy? I can't remember. Is it? I'm not so sure it is street legal. Spencer's excited. Anywho,
This is
look,
the first time I think we've ever done a live show, like when it's new, like the new year is turning over, because we would have done that on TSN 1290. So this is an IC first. In almost 14 years of doing this show, this is our first ever live New Year's show, which is pretty cool.
There you go. Well, we're doing new things. The Jets are
I'm also
going
buzzed right now, Dave, so everything's cool to me.
Well, Ezzy, we're doing new things. The Jets are going streaking, which isn't a new thing for this Jets. The new thing for the Jets was a losing streak, but they erased that when they stopped the Canucks, who again had won 7 in a row on the road, 3 in a row in their last 3 games, and yet the Jets held them. And let me tell you, I think they may have broken JT Miller because he erupted at Colin Delia when he wouldn't leave the net against the Jets on Thursday in proper formation, according to the Canucks forward. And then they showed him on the broadcast today in the game against Calgary, and his give a shit level was at 0.0. And
at least the Canucks didn't give JT Miller big money that they should have given Bo Horvat
for the next 7 years.
Oh wait,
for the next 7 years, and it's crazy because like you're sitting there and you're going, wow, like it both led to goals. Anyways, this is a Jets show. We don't talk about the Canucks, the Oilers,
stink.
Flames,
let's talk about the Jets.
But that's like I said, I guess the Jets did break them, and the Jets did as a result. Jets went streaking.
I saw a lot of Canucks. Sorry, Dave, I'm going on a tangent. It might be because I'm half in the bag here, but
all good.
There were a lot of people at the resort we were staying at in Mexico that were from Vancouver and like wearing Canucks hats and stuff like that. And I was rubbing it in. I was rubbing it into them that the Jets beat them, and they were all just like so like downtrodden. Like there's a good word for you.
There you go.
They were just all basically accepting the fact that the Jets were much better than the Canucks. So yeah, just wanted to throw that in there. Another cool thing was I was wearing a Whalers t-shirt. And if you remember Brent Peterson, former NHLer, he'd be in probably his early 50s now, played for the Whalers, and his brother was at the resort. And he came up to me and he said, that's a cool Whalers shirt you're wearing. My brother played for the Whalers. So I thought that was worth mentioning on the show.
Even when Ezzy's in Mexico, folks, he's doing illegal curve work and he's trying to make connections to people and chit chat, and that's not necessarily a bad thing for us. So
I'm just spreading the love, baby. I'm spreading that friendly Manitoba love. That's all I do.
Well, I mean, that's all we do here on the Illegal Curve Hockey Show, Ezzy. That's what we talk about. That's what we do, and we should probably get into the Betway game recap at some point because it is already 2023 and. You've probably had a long day. I know I've had a long day. Not to say that we're going to cut this one short because
Dave, I got all the time in the world. My kids are sleeping.
All right,
I'm good. You want to take this long? Let's do it long.
Okay, we'll take it long. We'll see how long we can go. We don't have any grandfather clocks to chime, unfortunately, at the top of every hour like we did the last couple of post-game shows, but we'll see what we can manufacture. But anyways, let's get into the Betway game recap, which is brought to you, no surprise, by Betway, one of the most trusted voices in sports betting, both in Canada and all around the world. Betway is a sports betting app that puts you, the customer, at the forefront. With a large selection of betting options and sports, as well as strong promotions and fair odds, what are you waiting for? Head on over to Betway and bet your way. Must be 19 years or older to play. Please play responsibly.
I was responsible in Mexico, by the way.
Really? How so?
I drank a little tequila and I drank a little bit, but I mean, we're with the kids. I was telling you about the trip. I mean, for the most part, we were in bed by like 8:00, stayed up a couple times, saw a nice little Michael Jackson show. That was a late night. Went to bed at 10:30 that night. But, I just, for the most part, hung out by the pool, had a couple mojitos. It was good times.
Well, that's, the
reason why I'm drinking beer right now for everybody that's watching is because I have to keep, if I don't drink, I'll actually my body needs the alcohol to I've built up that tolerance. So I need to keep drinking because that's what I was doing at the all-inclusive resort. So that's why I'm drinking in addition to celebrating 2023, baby.
So let me just make sure I understand you correctly. You're drinking because your body requires you to drink.
That made absolutely no sense, Dave.
It really didn't.
I'm basically just running on 3 or 4 hours of sleep. So let's get into the game recap. Let's get into Neil Pionk school.
I mean, as we can do whatever you need to do, but I mean, it was.
Can I smoke a cigar in here, Dave? Would that be cool? I have a couple Cohibas, if you don't mind.
Sure. I mean, if that's what you need to do. I mean, as much as I love the smell of cigar in my house, hey, you got to do what you got to do. Anyways, the Jets, the Oilers, things didn't look good for Winnipeg early because they were feeling all sorts of pressure. But Connor Hellebuck, you didn't know. I mean, you knew apparently, according to our friend Mike McIntyre, the Jets are dealing with a bit of a flu bug that's going through the room. I wasn't aware, which is hilarious because I read everything there is to about this team, but I didn't. I'd seen something about Mark Scheifele apparently dealing with some being ill against the Canucks. I thought, man, he was ill and he still had a hat trick. Can you imagine if he wasn't ill, how many points he would have ended up with? But apparently there's a bit of a flu bug going around, and maybe that explains the slow start for the last 7 games. But regardless, Connor Hellebuck started on time and he was the best Jets player, and he is night in and night out, him alongside Josh Morrissey, Mark Scheifele, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Kyle Connor, a lot of guys. But Connor Hellebuck is, of course, the most important player on this team, and he was to start this game. I mean, he was exactly what you needed, was a strong wall against an Oilers team that you kind of knew were going to really try. Like, they beat the Seattle Kraken 7-2. You knew they were going to try and throw a lot at the Jets early to try and to take a little, punch out of the Jets.
The save that stands out to me, Dave, you're absolutely right. And the save that stands out to me is I forget if it was the first power play. I forget because I'm drinking. So it was either the first Oilers power play. I think it was the second Oilers power play. Taylor Yamamoto had the shot. It was a really tight, like point blank shot. And it was just a very good positional save by Hellebuck. And you kind of got the feeling, at least I got the feeling, that at that point, Hellebuck was on. Like, this was going to be a game in which, he wasn't going to allow more than a couple of goals. And as you mentioned, I mean, he has really, with the exception of, a few bad games, really been there. So that I just wanted to throw that in there. The Yamamoto chance on the power play. I think it was the second power play, Dave, because I think the first Oilers power play, they didn't have a shot on net. The Jets didn't have a shot on net. And that's why when Cody Ceci got that delay of game penalty, I was thinking to myself, like, the Jets' first power play stunk. They only have like 1 or 2 shots at this point. They're going to score here. And that's when Neil Pionk scores and the Jets, have the 1-0 lead after 20 minutes, when really they had no business being up 1-0.
No, and it's funny because, like, the people in the chat who were here early, having like a little pregame show chat, they were talking about how frustrating it was to listen to that broadcast. And I will say, it's interesting that a national broadcast is done by guys who essentially are local guys. And I mean, I love Gene Principe. I mean, don't get me wrong, don't take that as
CKND, baby.
Yeah, of course. He spent some time here in Manitoba, but it is interesting when you hear the broadcast, and it has a certain bend, if you will, because he's like,
it's all Oilers, Dave. It is.
Well, it was crazy, right?
We've had Harner Ryan on the show. Harner Ryan's a great guy, and I love Louis DeBrusk too. I mean, he's a good NHLer, and he's a good analyst. But yeah, it's a little bit Oilers centric, to say the least.
No, and like, so to me, it was hilarious because he goes, if you watched it closely, that went off the stick. So then I was like, okay, well, I will watch it closely. Rewind. Not off the stick. Rewind. Not off.
No, that was off the boards.
Well, but
if you want to back it up here, back it up before we get to the Neil Pionk. And like we said, we're 23 minutes in here, Dave. We're feeling it. I'm gonna light up.
We're 23 and 23.
I'm obviously not lighting up a cigar for anybody I would never light up a cigar in Dave M's home. But it is New Year, so if there was any time to light up a Cohiba, it would be tonight. But
you do what you got to do.
It shouldn't have been a penalty call.
No,
I mean, that was off the boards. And Connor McDavid usually, I mean, isn't a guy who's going to come over, and you could see him shaking his head. Anybody who's watching the game live, and before it went to the commercial break, and I told you, Dave, while I was watching that certain play, I thought for sure it was going to get overturned, right? Because they have the ability to check it during the commercial break, and they didn't, and they mentioned that. And then, as we know, the Jets took advantage. But I mean, that's one of those calls that it's hard to make unless the referee or the linesman is in the exact position, which would be, in that case, it would be looking from behind to see that there was either a tip or it went off the boards. It was a freebie goal, but the Jets will take it. Like, what are they going to do? Not take the power play? Of course they're going to take the power.
Well, Cale Makar declined one the other day when he was tripped up.
That's true.
Was it against?
But when
Seattle?
you win a Norris Trophy, it's different, Dave. When you're a Norris Trophy winner, you can do that.
Yeah. So, anyways, but the reality, you're right. They're not going to decline the power play opportunity, and Neil Pionk, who it's funny. I talked about Neil today with Jim Toth on the show because he's a player who it appears, and we don't know it one way or the other, but it appears that he might have something that's ailing him because he just doesn't seem to have it, to the same degree as he normally does. And so we talked about the importance of him playing better. And it's funny because it does seem like playing the Oilers does bring out the best in Neil Pionk. And we obviously talked about the playoff series against Edmonton when he was so good against Connor McDavid and company. So it is ironic that, it was Neil Pionk who puts the Jets up 1-0. And I mean, what
Neil
a pass.
Pionk, by the way, Dave, sorry, 34% Corsi 4.
There you go.
So, I mean, Corsi 4 is not the be all end all. But clearly, Pionk and Samberg was the pairing, right? Like they were struggling a little bit out there.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
But again, Samberg had the big block at the end of the game on Klim Kostin, right? So Samberg stepped up, but I mean, there's no doubt that Pionk wasn't playing that great in the first period. But again, He ends up with a goal and an assist, and was one of the Jets' best players, in that sense.
Yes.
But it wasn't his strongest game defensively.
That's a fair way, especially on the goal against. But like we'll get into that when we get into the Oilers goal, Ezzy. But again, it's just another example of Kyle Connor's lethal ability to make a pass. And it's funny because look at his numbers before he scored. He had 193 goals and 193 assists. He's even Steven.
You've been on that for years, Dave.
Because I think it's hilarious.
He's considered a pure goal scorer, but he's absolutely not a pure goal scorer.
That's exactly
like Alex Ovechkin, for example, is a pure goal scorer. Or you would say, who's another guy? Stamkos.
Yeah.
Even though he can make plays, I mean, those guys are more pure goal scorers, whereas Connor is the definition of a guy who can set up plays just as good as he can score them.
Yeah, and I mean now he's on pace for I think around 60 assists for the season. So I mean it's been a remarkable year because like I said, we tend to focus so much on his ability to score, but he is a guy who can set up his teammates, and that was a beautiful pass over to Neil Pionk to give the Jets a 1-0 lead. And you're thinking to yourself, is this going to be one of those games, Ezzy? Is this going to be one of those games where the Jets are in the game by virtue of the fact that they have the lead, but they don't really deserve it, but they have Connor Hellebuyck, and that kind of equalizes even a player as great as Connor McDavid?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I know you want to move on here and we've talked about it, but, just to isolate that pass and obviously, Jack Campbell.
Ezzy, we got no time limit. There's no time.
I mean, it's 2023. I mean, it's a blank canvas here, Dave. Right?
Yeah. You roll. You do whatever you got to do. Yeah. People are in the chat. People are having a good time.
Absolutely.
Phyllis is making sure. Right now. Phyllis is making sure people are smashing the like button. If she's not, I am.
People are doing. Are people like what snacks? Are people as people are watching this? Or other people? Because hold on, let me have another.
By the way, Ezzy. So Sparky just said press 3 if you think Ezra is buzzed. Now Flying Dukes. No, he said 2. Chris Koff, who's a absolutely winner. 3.
I'm high on life, man.
3.
I'm not going to be taking a gummy. I think Sparky was the one that was asking me to take a gummy.
I'm not going to be doing that. Rob Mahoney says, Ezzy, we should go. The show should go until Ezzy runs out of brews. Unfortunately, my fridge is rather well stocked
up. You've been actually stockpiling because you knew that I was coming for the show, Dave. So you made sure that there was a 12-pack in there.
Exactly. So
yeah, no, go ahead. Just to continue. I mean, that was, an incredible backhand, and Jack Campbell gets a piece of it. It actually goes off of both of his pads. And if you go back and look at it, Neil Pionk, it was almost like that pass came too quick for Pionk. So he was a bit of an awkward shooting situation, but he got enough on it with Campbell coming left to right. And I was also going to mention too, Campbell has had a really bad year. When they showed his numbers, Dave, I don't know, if anybody else was looking at that, but I was surprised at how bad his number. I knew his numbers weren't great.
Yeah.
But what was it? 888 save percentage, 4.0 goals against average. And obviously, the Oilers had a bit of a slow start there, and now they're in a playoff spot, wild card spot, whatever. But I think that pass, by Kyle Connor was really, the highlight of that goal. And sometimes, you're up 1-0 after one period and you haven't played very well. The even strength possession was 80% in favor of the Oilers. You don't see that very often when a team, the deserve a win meter was clearly in the Oilers' favor after that first period, but the Jets will take the 1-0 lead after one.
Now, Ezzy, before you don't want to make Dark Moon upset, so make sure you smile and wave for Dark Moon here. Come on.
I mean, I'm always smiling. That's the thing. I'm always smiling. So yeah,
and as Larry says, Drew's not here, so it's a free for all. We could do whatever we want.
But does Dark Moon actually want maybe the whole time he's wanted like this type of wave?
Oh, interesting. Actually, I
Did
you know,
I
it's
just
funny.
blow your mind?
I didn't say anything. No, I don't think you're right. But I did. It was interesting because I was talking when we were talking to Nolan Baumgartner today on the little thing called the Illegal Curve Hockey Show, and I said, there's supposed to be over 6,000 in attendance today, and he said, yeah, I love it. They get the wave going, and I was like, whoa, Nolan, you're done. You're off the show. It's over. Get off. This is my show. Get out of here. We don't talk about the wave.
That's a football thing. Isn't that
I
more
don't
of a
mind.
football thing? I mean,
Actually, it's funny.
I'm with
I
you.
actually,
This is my whole thing with the wave. Okay.
yeah.
Like let's put this to bed right now. I feel like we should get Andrew Hustler Patterson, who's definitely partying right now that he's back from Qatar. The thing with me with the wave is you have to have, if you're going to do the wave, you have to have a huge lead. Like it's got to be like 5-1 or 6-2.
It can't be a tie game or a one.
Don't start pulling out the wave when it's 3-1. And I'm not talking about Canada Life Center. I love my people at Canada Life Center. I'm just talking about in general at any hockey game at any level. It's got to be a huge gap in like a big margin of victory, right? That's all I'm going to say. But generally speaking, like I don't really like if people are doing the wave, Dave, I'm not going to be the guy that's not doing the wave sitting down. I'll put it that way. I'm going to do the wave.
Well, I mean, the funny thing for me was,
again, but I would say I'm neutral positive to the wave, if that makes any sense. I just don't really care. Like, do the wave, don't do the wave. I don't care.
Well, it's funny actually, because what I was gonna say was I don't mind it when kids are doing it. You know what I mean? Like if kids are doing it, then it's totally fine. Which is why I don't mind it in Moose games, because it's usually kids. But I don't know how we started talking about the wave. That's a deviation of epic proportions. But regardless, you should, as Bailey Weeb is saying, and I agree with her, never do a wave when there's a tie. Otherwise, whatever.
No, I mean, if you're doing the wave during, like, not only should there not be a wave during a tie, there shouldn't be a wave in, I think, even like a 2-goal game.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like if it's a close game, why are you doing, like, isn't the whole point of the wave, like, your team is winning so by such a I don't know, wide margin, whatever you want to call it, that you're like that happy. Like a wave comes out when it's somebody, I think, just paid $13.99 for a wave emoji, by the way.
No, it's because that's Spencer Sutton. He wants you to take off your shirt, Ezzy. Tarps off. Let's go. Okay. I feel like what was it?
Where does that $13.99 go?
It just
we should be giving that to a charity.
It disappears into the ether. Well, Ezzy, it costs money to run this little thing called the Leo Curve. That's why
these imported IPAs. This is a juicy AF here.
Yeah,
very tasty.
As let's put it this way. When I read Spencer's tweet, message here, all I can instantly think of is you doing it as Chris Farley from Billy Madison. That is correct.
That Veronica Vaughn. By the way, that $13.99, Spencer, I'm going to put that towards a pizza for us. We'll party.
There we go. Oh, you mean when you deliver the Jets merch?
I'll bring a pizza pie.
Well, thank you, Spencer. Slices. I don't know if we're going to go tarps off just yet, but we may get tarps off.
Maybe I should say Boston Pizza. By the way, they're a sponsor.
Well, what? Oh God, we gotta cut off.
I said slices. Boston Pizza. I go to both.
Yes.
I spread my wealth around to all the different pizza places. Santa Lucia,
God.
Mona Lisa. It's all good.
Can someone get Mindell from Kentucky, because Ezzy's already lost it? This is not necessarily good. We haven't even gotten to the second.
I got a lot of sun this week, Dave. A lot of sun. It's a combination of heat stroke, alcohol, and basically running after my kid.
Yeah, running after
Ruben. So
yeah, I was gonna say Ruben is more of a hellion than Ariella is. So you got a little bit of easier.
We actually had to pick him up and carry him back to the room one night because he knocked over some necklaces at a stand. It wasn't a good situation, but for the most part, he behaved.
Well, speaking of not good situations, nothing happened in the second period except for a couple of penalties to the Jets. Ville Heinola took a tripping penalty against Klim Kostin, and then Carson Kuhlman later in the period took a tripping penalty against Dylan Holloway. And both times the penalty kill. I mean, the Oilers come in with the best power play, and yes, they are missing Leon Draisaitl, no question about it, but they have some very good players on that team still. And they came in, I think, the number one power play in the NHL and the Jets stymied them again in that second period to maintain that 1-goal lead. The Oilers outshot the Jets 11-5. Anything kind of stand out to you in that second period?
Yeah, well, okay, we have to talk about the penalty kill because
By the way, I'm pretty sure Spencer does own our show because he's now sponsored again. He's dropped another $6.99 onto the show. So basically, Spencer, you're running the show.
Well, I'm telling you right now, we're gonna donate this money. Maybe we'll double it. Maybe we'll match it, and we'll donate it to a charity. Because this is 2023. We're gonna kick it off right, and we're gonna give this money to a good cause. How about that?
I will say this for the record: Ginsburg does not speak for Illegal Curve or Illegal Curve Incorporated.
Actually, hold on a second. I need that money. I spent all my money in Mexico.
Okay, yes. Let's talk about that second period.
Let's talk about the penalty kill, because the penalty kill. Really, this game to me comes down to Connor Hellebuyck and the penalty kill, right?
By the way, I don't know what's going on right now. I know everybody's in a new year, new phase, but now we got to thank Kenny's water bottle.
All of a sudden, this is like the Jerry Lewis telethon.
I was just gonna say, I kind of feel like I'm one of those those religious shows, and people are like, it's like, Ezzy.
By the way, you can buy me, guys. Like, just keep the money flowing, and you will own me. You will literally own me.
Listen, guys, Ezra and I need a jet. But we need a super powered jet to take us around North America so I can cover the Manitoba Moose in a manner befitting illegalcurve.com. So
I want to watch that documentary about the guy who tries to buy a jet with his Pepsi points. Or he doesn't try to buy the jet, but he tries to win the jet with his Pepsi points. To me, that's just awesome.
Pepsi, I think it's called like Pepsi Where's My Plane or something like that. Or it looked actually very good, to be honest with you. But anyway. We appreciate that everybody's doing the donations. That's awesome. Thank you, Spencer. Thank you, Kenny. Brian Harder asking, is this an Illegal Curve telethon? It's kind of becoming that. We'll see how it looks at the end of this, but let's get back into it. As you're right, the PK was kind of a mate as good as Connor Hellebuyck was, and he's a he's a big part of that PK. The PK was a big story for the Jets, especially in that second period.
Yeah, and to me, it starts up the middle, right? Like I was telling you this, like I'm sure you and JT talked about this on this morning show. Did you guys talk about Kevin Stenlund? Because Kevin Stenlund,
yes, a little bit.
There we go. I mean, this is.
By the way, thank you, Stonewall
awesome.
Dave.
I mean, hey, look, no, if people look, like we have a great reputation in this province for being generous and coming through in the clutch. So if we're able to look, how about this, Dave? We will decide. We'll figure out which not-for-profit we're going to give the money to, and then we'll announce it on social media, or we'll announce it on the next post-game show. How about that?
Well, I've already got the charity in mind. It's called the Human Fund. So it'll.
I was gonna say Ginsburg Inc.
I was gonna say, just as a quick aside, thank you, Stonewall Dave. That is appreciated by you. But no, what I was gonna say is I got to give Weber credit. Sorry, this is a quick aside, and I know Ezzy and I are all over the map, folks, and it's been a long day for both of us for different reasons. Some of us work, no big deal. But I will say, I got to give Weber credit, Kenny Weeb of Sportsnet, because his article that he wrote for sportsnet.ca, which is linked in the afternoon papers, in afternoon links, and will also be in the morning papers tomorrow. It actually said something about it's real and and it's fabulous or something like that. It was like a Seinfeld line in his thing. So huge props to Kenny's water bottle. Well, Kenny's water bottle just gave $5 to Ed. Like, I am all over the map. I don't know what's going on. This show is quickly derailing.
Okay, so I mean,
oh god, now Spencer.
If you're gonna mention how is this? By the way, is this real money?
Well, it's not
like I don't see the back end. I don't like. I'm just like a regular user. I'm not a super user like you and Mindell are. Yeah. But is this real money? Like, what's happening here? All I see is
Ezra,
different colors and different amounts.
Ezra, it's not real money. None of it is real. This is all a dream. Is it Dogecoin? This is all a dream.
No, it's TFX coin, or what was the one that? Who's that dude that scammed everybody?
Oh, FTX or whatever?
FTX. This isn't like FTX crypto or Crispo.
Yeah, that's what it is, Ezzy. We're actually raising money for the Illegal Curve NFT.
I love it. Love Spencer.
Anyways, so thank you, Spencer. Mood. Yeah, well, we can give it all back to Spencer when we go to see him next week, Ezzy.
That's what I was going to say. Shouldn't we just maybe we should just e-transfer it back to Spencer? That's what we should do. No, we're going to give it to a charity. We are definitely going to give it to a charity because that's what we should be doing.
Totally.
And yeah. I'm serious about that.
I know you are. You can donate it.
Yeah, we'll do it. But what I wanted to talk about it's hard to segue back into the penalty kill. But to me, it started up the middle. And I was talking about Kevin Stenlund, but he has just been an absolute monster all over the place. He's big. I mean, this guy just works his ass off. Yeah. And you got to love it. And Stenlund was really good in the face-off circle. I believe he was 55%. Let me check that. He was 55%. There you go. Kevin Stenlund. Gustafson 57, Adam Lowry 75%.
Which, by the way,
the reason why that matters is because when you have those defensive zone faceoffs,
yeah.
I mean, look at shutting down the Oilers' number one ranked power play is huge in this game. And when you give the Oilers 5 opportunities and they can't capitalize on one of them, to me, that is a huge. Special teams was huge in this game, in addition to obviously Hellebuck's wizardry, right? So you got to give, Gus Bus, Stenlund, Carson Kuhlman was out there. I was checking the ice times. Carson Kuhlman, had less PK time than Adam Lowry and Kevin Stenlund, but he was out there for, hold on, let me find it here. Carson Kuhlman only had 45 seconds of shorthanded time, but I liked it. They were keeping the shift short, right, Dave? So, I mean, like tonight was a really gutsy game, considering that Morrissey was essentially a game time decision. And, considering that all the injuries the Jets have right now, and Christian Reichel playing his first game, and we got to give Reichel a shout out. You've been talking about him for a few years now, right, Dave? Like, he's a guy undrafted, right? Was he not undrafted, or was he a late draft pick? I forget. I thought he was undrafted.
No, he was undrafted.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Undrafted, son of Robert Reichel, obviously super famous from Czechia. So, I thought just a really good overall team defensive effort against one of the better offensive teams in the league. Even if they don't have Leon Draisaitl, you always have to worry about Connor McDavid when he's on the ice. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is having a great year. We talked about Yamamoto, who's a good player. He was stopped by Hellebuck on a really good point-blank chance in the first period. So, yeah, just a great victory by the Jets, even though, they didn't really pile up the shots like they would have liked to.
Sorry, Ezzy, I missed. Got
another $6.99 here from T. Will.
Well, I got to give T. Will a thanks, but I also missed that there was a bot in the chat because I went to tweet about people should join us, and then I missed that there was a bot. But then I saw Spencer getting excited about the bot, so I had to go check out what was going on. But it's all good. Kenny's water bottle. Don't you worry. I've got you protected from sexy find info. Don't worry. They're gone. They're done. They won't be able to spread their filth here on our clean site illegal curve.
What was happening? I don't know. I can't see.
Well, you can't see because you're wearing glasses. That's the reason why you can't see. But well, hey Bailey, another, guys, I mean, this is we're having a lot of fun. This has been great, and we appreciate everybody getting involved in that way and having a lot of fun. And we've got, we're not even through the second period. We've still got, of course.
You're gonna have to add up all this money, Dave. I'm not. I've been drinking, so I can't add up all this money. But I think we might be close to $100.
Ezzy, what money? Anywho. Thank you, Phyllis. Phyllis is trying to get everybody in the chat. She's wrangling. It's like trying to wrangle Ezzy.
Phyllis wants those likes. Phyllis is always like, if Phyllis doesn't have it, she wants a certain amount of likes. We should almost call it the Phyllis line. Like the Phyllis line is like 100 likes. There has to be at least 100 likes for Phyllis to be content.
Well, I think that makes a lot of sense to me. But the point is, we have to get through the rest of the game. Let's keep it rolling here. So, the second period ends. Jets remain up 1-0. All seems to be well, but you're not sure how the third period is going to go because, of course, the Oilers did play last night. Will that impact them? Will that allow them to get back into the game if they find? Because they are desperate. The Jets are in an interesting situation because, of course, they've come in and they've lost 4 out of 5, right? And so you really, even though you won against Vancouver on Thursday, you really can't afford to have a letdown. And you really did need to try and get some points and build something, have some good feeling. Because what we've talked about is the likelihood of the Jets making a trade, and we'll get into that after, is the fact that the likelihood isn't high. At least my
well, where's the cap space? Like we talked about it, right? Like there's no cap space available right now. It has to be a 1-for-1. Spencer Sutton, like I feel like this is like the bling bling video with like the Cash Money Millionaires, and Spencer Sutton is just he's making it rain. Like just. He's like at me at the bar in Puerto Vallarta, right? Like he's like those 50 pesos are just going right to those bartenders.
Well, we're not going to, don't worry, Spencer. We will not be telling Drew about this. You're right. He does. He's probably hawking his father-in-law's clock right now for $2 million. So
but is it a grandfather clock though?
Oh, it is a grandfather clock. We all saw it.
Grandfather clock.
Everybody saw it. Everybody saw it and everyone enjoyed it. So it was good times. But anyways, third period, Jets up 1-0, but that all comes to an end. Klim Kostin scores his 5th goal of the season, 4:29 into the third period.
Dave, can we talk about Connor McDavid And you did rightly point this out, Dave.
Yeah.
There was a pick by Jesse Puljujarvi on Josh Morrissey.
Yeah.
Because we talked about Morrissey. When Morrissey was able to go one-on, like, to me, that's fascinating. When you have a Josh Morrissey, Connor McDavid one-on-one situation,
right?
Like, that's what you live for, right? A guy who is right now maybe the Norris Trophy favorite.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even joking. He might be, like, earlier in the season, you know, it was the Norrisy and all the jokes and everything like that. He's actually changed his name to Josh Norrisy now. He is Josh Norrisy. It's not just a joke anymore. No, I'm obviously joking, but I mean, there was a pick by Jesse Puljujarvi there, Dave, but I mean, he absolutely posterizes Dylan DeMello, trying to do it all himself. Hellebuck makes the save. That happened right before, but you got the feeling leading up to the goal, the set play goal by Klim Kostin, you got the feeling the Oilers were going to tie it up.
Yeah, no, that's a good point by you, Ez, and that is one of those things that it's that inevitability. Like you knew that Edmonton was going to continue to press, and that's exactly what they did. And sure enough, the Jets found themselves in a tie game. But the one good thing from a Jets perspective was you really didn't get a sense that they were going to bend, right? Like it was that the Oilers were pushing hard to kind of get back in and to tie it. But at the same time, you know, Winnipeg wasn't looking like they were going to fold. And they actually, the third period was the best period of the three, I thought, and I think you did as well for both teams, or for the Jets, I should say, it was a little bit better of a period. But just 2 minutes and about 20 seconds later, Kyle Connor with a just beautiful tip of that Neil Pionk shot from the point to give the Jets a 2-1 lead. Kyle Connor puts the Jets ahead with, I think that was his 16th goal of the season. And of course, in addition to Neil Pionk getting the primary assist, secondary assist goes to Christian Reichel, who we should mention actually was elevated to the Kyle Connor, Pierre-Luc Dubois line. So quite an elevation for Christian Reichel to go from having not played any games for a while to playing with Pierre-Luc Dubois and Kyle Connor.
So are we skipping ahead? Are we skipping the Kostin goal here and going to the Connor goal, Dave?
Well, we kind of already.
I wasn't sure. I mean, because you know.
Well, you're right. You're right, because we did kind of glaze over it, because the truth is we should.
Because my eyes are glazed over. That's why.
Your eyes are glazed over, but the defense was lacking on by the Jets. I mean, it's weird because they won the faceoff, and then the puck goes across, and Samberg and Pionk are a little bit late to the party. But go ahead, let's go to the Kostin one, and then we'll talk to the.
Well, yeah, okay. So Klim Kostin, who we talked about, I mean, there was a scary play right at the end of the game there, and we hope that he's not out for too long. But I don't know there. But I mean, originally watching that, I thought Ryan Nugent-Hopkins won the faceoff, but what had happened there is David Gustafsson won the faceoff, but it was kind of waiting there. And was it Dylan Samberg? I forget if it was Samberg, Dave. Correct me if I'm wrong. It might have been, hold on, I'm watching the replay as we speak here. Yeah, it was Samberg, and he gets beat to the puck by who was it here? It was Janmark. And Janmark gets the puck over to Klim Kostin, who was open there. But it was just one of those situations where it was like that half second of, because it wasn't like one of those faceoffs that cleanly goes back, it was kind of waiting there. So yeah, it was just a little bit of whatever you want to call it, brain fart, or just the Jets didn't react well enough there. And we talked about it. I mean, Dylan Samberg comes up with a huge block on Kostin, funny enough, because Kostin scores the goal. And obviously we're not going to, that was just a fluke play. It was David Gustafsson who bumps into Kostin there, but it was just a freak thing. The way, I think it was his right skate, if I'm not mistaken, goes into the boards, and then he has to be helped off the ice. But yeah, it was just, I thought that was worth pointing out, that it looked like originally that the Oilers had watched the faceoff, maybe also too, because I wasn't paying attention fully. But yeah, it was just not the best defensive play by Samberg there, but he made up for it.
Someone said
Take
in the chat
off of mute.
It's funny because someone said in the chat before that they said, the amount of times that Dave is muted and Drew has to tell him, or you have to tell me that I'm muted is a thing. But I'm about to do something.
Don't mute yourself, Dave. Keep yourself off of mute.
But sometimes
you live a mute-free life, man.
But Ezzy, sometimes you get upset because I'm not. I'm tweeting and I'm doing all this other stuff. Anyways, I'm about to do something that's never been done in the history of the Illegal Curve post-game show. We are about to have, and I don't think this is a good idea, but I'm going to do it anyways, some special guests. Spencer Sutton and family.
Look at these beauties. What's going on, guys?
What's going on, everybody? Good evening, Winnipeg.
We're partying, baby.
Manitoba.
Spencer and company.
Where are you guys tonight? Are you guys at a house party or what's happening there?
Oh, just having a little party.
And by the way, can I come over after the show?
DC.
Happy New Year!
Whoa, I love
Happy
it.
New Year, boys.
Everybody in the
Who's
hot
got here?
tub.
Who else is with you there, Spencer?
Go, Jets, go!
Oh, you're in a hot tub. What's
You're in a
happening?
hot tub. Sage Creek, everyone's invited. Let's go.
All right.
Ooh,
Anyway,
Sage Creek.
Spencer,
That's fancy.
we appreciate you being in the show. We're going to talk to you soon. Thanks for joining us. You didn't think I'd send you the link,
Hold
but I
on a
sent you the
second.
link.
Hold on. Why are we saying bye to Spencer? Let's keep Spencer on here.
Guys, we got a show to do.
Spencer Sutton show, baby.
Well, Spencer and gang.
Yeah,
Spencer's
we got a gang.
friends.
We got a
Can I
gang.
flip this?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Can I flip the camera?
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good the way you are.
Your face. We just want to see Spencer's face.
Sorry, we're a boomer here.
No, you're good. See,
There
he's
we
got the
go.
stogie. He's got the stogie.
I
Now
love it.
everybody wants. Now everybody
So,
wants to be on the show.
Spencer, the party's in Sage Creek. That's where we're partying tonight.
Oh, they're outside too. I love it.
Where are the
So,
ladies at? I hear some female
How about
voices
those
there. I know you
Jets?
guys aren't. I know it's not all dudes.
All right. Well, look, this I said I'd invite Spencer on for 2 minutes. 2 minutes left.
This could get X-rated.
Spencer didn't think I would do it, but I sent him the link. Thanks for joining us. Happy New Year to
You're
everyone
a
at
beauty,
Sage Creek.
Spencer. We love your
Yeah,
support and
shout out
watching
to
all the
chat.
shows. You're hilarious, man.
Thanks, Spencer.
Happy New Year's, boys.
All right, there they
Was
go.
that real?
Spencer,
Did you send him the link? How did Spencer get the link?
Because Spencer said to me, Dave, send me the link, you coward. He didn't think I was going to do it, but I did it. I sent Spencer the link. So Spencer,
I think there were. I heard some females there. Like
he's in a hot
there's-
tub.
yeah. I mean,
They're having some fun.
Spencer's
and so
balling.
it's all good. Spencer.
I think one thing has become apparent about this year's Illegal Curve postgame show.
yeah.
Spencer
Yeah.
Sutton needs to become an official member of Illegal Curve.
Well, I mean, like, look, everyone, we're going to do new things here. We're innovative. We're innovative here on the Illegal Curve postgame show. It's 2023. We're trying new things. Things are happening. And, Spencer saying legit, there's females here, but look, never say never. And, when Dave M is running the show and we don't have to worry about Mindy and his, his rules and his like frowning, it's a party. It's a party zone, especially when Ezzy's back in the fold. People are having
It's good to be
times.
back.
And
Mexico was fun, but like by the time, after day 4 or 5, I mean, it gets boring, like sitting in the sun, getting all these drinks. Actually, I miss it so much. No, I'm glad to be back.
Brian Harder's saying if Drew watches this when he gets back, this might be the last show he ever misses. But that's okay because maybe this just becomes a 2023, a New Year's thing. Maybe
We could have a spin-off show, Dave. Maybe
Well,
we have a Spencer Sutton, and friends and gang. Sorry, it was and gang. Spence and gang.
Yes.
We'll have
Yes.
a spin-off show. Love it.
Yeah. So Kenny's upset that he was staring at some bearded, shirtless dude. Well, there were girls in the hot tub, Ken. You just had to look closely. But that's not
Well,
what the show's all.
we didn't see the ladies, but you could hear there was some lady. I mean, Spencer's balling. I mean, he's obviously a ladies' man, so the ladies were around, but he just didn't. He didn't want to make anybody jealous.
There you go. The point is, let me put it this way: I took this show so far from wherever we were that I don't even remember. I think we just in the Klim Kostin.
Oh, so that was a beautiful tip by Kyle Connor. Okay, let's
go back to that.
Let's finish strong here, baby. Let's talk about that tip because it was Brett Kulak.
Yeah,
he's a good underrated defenseman. Actually, I've always liked Kulak. He was part of that decor when the Habs swept the Jets a couple years back. You remember?
Yeah,
he was on that group.
For the Habs,
Kulak's a good solid defenseman, and I don't know how. Like Kulak has good positioning on Connor on that goal, Dave. But and that's something that you don't see as much from Connor. Like that's more of a Pierre-Luc Dubois type of goal.
I don't remember ever seeing.
Right?
I actually don't remember ever seeing Kyle Connor do anything like that.
Right, and that's just goes to, speaks to how dynamic a player he is. Right, like. It was like last year, everyone woke up and realized that Kyle Connor almost scored 50 goals and he's pretty good, right? It's like, where have you been the last 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
So that the fact that Kulak is, has great positioning and he's pushing Connor away from Jack Campbell and, Pionk, as we've talked about, both Morrissey and Pionk are, I think, two of the best defensemen in the league. at putting pucks on net in positions to be tipped.
Right.
And it was just a beautiful tip by Kyle Connor and just a really nice game-winning goal. And we talked about it. This was not a shot-heavy game for the Jets. What did they finish with, Dave? I think 21 or 22 shots. And Jack Campbell's been struggling, but I'm sorry. Campbell had no chance on that goal. I mean, that was tipped in a spot where Campbell had no chance. And, you know, it was a great game-winning goal. And again, the Jets, sometimes all you need is great special teams and, you know, some excellent stellar goaltending, and that's enough. And we talked about it. Yamamoto hits the post or the crossbar late in the game, and that game could have easily gone into overtime, but it wasn't meant to be. This was Connor Hellebuyck and the Jets night.
Yeah, and you got to credit Connor Hellebuyck again because Brendan Dillon takes that 4-minute double minor against Kyler Yamamoto. And originally we thought it might be an elbow. Then you actually watch the replay and you're like, oh no, he got a stick. He got his money's worth. Let's put it that way.
And let's talk about this, Dave. You mentioned this. Why did Jay Woodcroft not pull Jack Campbell earlier?
Yeah, that was weird.
Like, you know, you're down a goal. You know, I get it. I mean, you know, maybe you're starting off the power play and you're going to wait to see what's going on here. But if I'm not mistaken, I mean, the Jack Campbell's was not pulled until a minute and 25 left.
Mm-hmm,
I'd have to go back to see the exact time.
Yeah.
But why aren't you pulling him with a couple minutes left? I just thought that was a situation where you go 6-on-4 a little earlier. That's it.
Yeah. No, and I think that's a fair one because, I mean, the Jets PK was perfect. And that's, you know, to me, that's the story. As good as Connor Hellebuyck was, and there isn't a PK without Connor Hellebuyck. So when I talk about the
What's happening with Free Cabillas right now? Or is it Cabillas?
What?
I just see hashtag Free Cabillas. I don't know how long ago that was. Sorry, I'm behind on my chat. That was 12-17. Forget it.
What are you, Drew? I mean, Ezzy,
Jeff Cabillas. I don't know if it's Jeff Cabillas or Cabiles, but he's a big.
I always think of it as Cables.
IC fan here.
Yeah,
Cable?
why is he?
Cables?
Yeah,
sorry,
it probably isn't. But
half an hour ago, I'm completely in the.
What is going on here, Ezzy? Holy moly! Come on, man.
It's the IC Telethon presented by Spencer Sutton and the gang. That's what's happening.
Yeah, like Ezzy, like holy moly, what's going on?
Sorry,
I'm like worried.
I'm sorry. Like I said, I've only been back in Canada for 4 hours. Okay.
I'm like,
I'm still getting the Mai Tais out of my system.
Ezzy, you're so far back. We're about to start talking about the first Neil Pionk goal in the first period. That's how far back you are right now. Should we redo it? I mean, the game wasn't that exciting.
I'm really excited the Jets are back in Winnipeg.
Well, that's very good. I'm glad.
See, I'm taking it back to 2011. That was the joke.
Yeah, that was a good one. That is a good joke.
Haha. High course, haha.
Ha. Anywho, Jets managed to.
I have a little beer left here. And then I'm going to have to go to the fridge for another one after the break, Dave.
Oh, there you go. Well, you're welcome to take. I'm sure I've got something from. There's a variety of alcohol.
What's Ryan Seacrest? What's everybody? Is everybody watching like Seacrest or who's the other guy? Anderson. Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen are good. I like them.
They're a good duo. Are they better than
Naomi? Before I left, Naomi said, "Can you please tape Ryan Seacrest?"
Really?
Or sorry, record. That's showing how old I am right now because I said tape, as if I'm like taping on the VCR.
Spencer is having way too much fun on this, by the way. Yeah. I mean, it's hilarious, and thank you, Spencer. But the best is when I show up in the hot tub in about half an hour and I'll be like, sorry, here's all your money back. I appreciate that you did that. But actually the best line, I think.
Let's bring Spencer back on.
No, we do not abuse a privilege.
Okay.
We do not abuse the privilege. It was fun.
Yeah, that's right.
But then it becomes something that it's not.
It's true.
If we overindulge. It's kind of like you and alcohol. We're going to have that conversation after the break. But the Jets, they go into the New Year's break and 2022, big 2-1 win over the Oilers, the hated Oilers. First game of 3 this season against.
I would say mildly detested Oilers.
Yeah, I mean,
I think the Leafs are more hated.
No, I mean, I think
not by me. I don't really care. I think it's funny how many people hate the Oilers.
I think
the Leafs, but I would say that the Leafs are more hated than the Oilers. But the Oilers are a good rival of the Jets for sure.
I think the Oilers from the Smythe Division days will always be like
and the Heritage team. Classic. Yep.
Yeah, but I will say that I think once the Jets beat the Oilers in a playoff series, for anybody who grew up in the 80s and was like a Smythe Division, like had like PTSD watching them play the Oilers, then suddenly it was
Here's the name for you, Mark Lamb.
Ooh,
remember that goal?
Yeah. I actually just saw Gord Donnelly in the press box a couple days ago.
Nice. He was
There you
tough
go.
as nails.
There's a late 80s.
Gord
late
Donnelly,
80s,
Sean Cronin.
Late 80s. He's scouting. I don't know
Jim
who he's
Kite.
scouting for, but he's scouting for one of the teams now. But I was going to say to him, I think I have your hockey card. And then he said to me, how did you get in the press box? And that was the story.
It's not bad.
Didn't happen.
I mean, he was tough. I remember Cronin was called the Barbarian. Nobody wanted to fight him because
Number
he was
40,
nuts. He
number
wore
44.
the paper thin helmet. Yeah, like
Yeah.
he was like he was like I would compare him to like Anthony Peluso.
Yeah,
Nobody wanted to fight Peluso. Like Peluso, Tony P was tough as nails.
Yeah. He was the guy, but he was like there was just abandon to him. Like you'd just watch him and you'd be like,
this guy's nuts.
Yeah, like there was nothing. He
Maybe
had no
Bob
fear.
Probert. Probert was, I think,
Well, no, Probert was the
guy of all
toughest.
time.
Toughest
guy of all time.
Yeah, there's not.
And he was also good. People forget he scored 31 year for the Red Wings.
Well, that was the beauty of it. Like even people like, oh, he's a plug. He couldn't.
No, he was good. He was a good hockey player.
You know, you think Chris Thorburn only knew how to toss knuckles, folks? Come on, that guy could
go back and
watch that Penguins goal.
Was that the shorthanded goal? The peak? Yeah.
No.
Was that against the
Penguins? No. It must have been against the Sabres because I think it was against Ryan Miller. Because I think Ryan Miller made some joke about it. So I'm pretty sure it was against, although Miller played for the Wings, the Ducks.
I feel like it was against the Coyotes where he scored a really nice goal. But I mean, let's be honest, Dave, he scored a lot of nice goals. That's what he was known for. It's a beauty.
That is true, Ezzy. That is a very good point. Well, I mean, somehow, some way, we've taken 4 hours to do a Betway game recap.
It's actually 2024 now, Dave.
Yeah. Just so everybody knows, Jets won the Stanley Cup. Congratulations on that. But
it's crazy. And the Moose won the Calder Cup, and the Ice won the Memorial Trophy.
Yeah.
2023 was a fantastic year.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to 2025.
Hopefully, you all didn't just time warp through it. But anyways, let's end this part of the show. Ezzy, the Betway game recap was brought to you, not a surprise, by Betway. It's simple, fun, and safe to bet with Betway. So head on over to Betway and bet your way. You must be 19 years or older to play. Please play responsibly, Ezzy.
The beer's officially done, and I'm going to need another one.
Okay, well, we're gonna take our first and only break, and there's a lot of stuff still to go. We still have to tell everybody who the Tough Duck winner is. We still have to
go to Spencer Sutton and the gang's party.
Well, that's the post game show, Ezzy. That's IC After Dark,
obviously. Yeah,
and it'll literally be dark because you could see how dark it was with Spencer in the group.
Yeah.
But we've got the IC merch to give away. We've got the grand prize, although I actually was thinking about that. So we're going to talk about that when we come back for break. You're listening to the Illegal Curve post-game show. Somehow we're still on the air. I'm Dave Minuk. That's Ezzy Ginsburg. And we'll be back with you after these messages from our sponsors.
Woo! Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock, Jon Stewart, Dennis Miller, Brad Garrett, the biggest acts and all the up-and-comers. They've all made their mark at Rumors Comedy Club, North America's longest-running independent comedy club. Rumors has kept Winnipeg laughing for over 25 years. When was the last time you laughed out loud? Make it a great night out with friends or book your office or birthday party, even a fundraising event at Rumors. Get all the details and dates on upcoming shows at rumorscomedyclub.com.
He winds up. Oh, looks like Ezzy took that one right in the choppers.
A blistering fast puck hurts like HE double hockey sticks. That's why I let the pros at Linden Market Dental Center turn my yow into
wow.
Get your brilliant smile back with state-of-the-art restorative and cosmetic dentistry from real pros.
And remember, always wear a mouth guard.
Now that's solid on ice advice. Learn more at lindenmarketdentalcenter.com. Creating smiles for life.
Whoa, Ezzy, everything okay? You look stressed.
Of course I'm stressed. We're moving, the house is upside down, the kids failed miserably at packing the fine china, and my life is in chaos. Chaos!
Yes, that does sound like a problem.
What am I going to do?
Ezzy, relax. Rolly's Transfer Moving and Storage is the answer. With 60 years of experience in moving Manitobans and a track record of exemplary customer service, one call to Rolly's and your stress is gone. No job is too big or too small. Just visit Rollies.com and they will take it from there.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you, Rollies Transfer Moving and Storage, online at Rollies.com.
Dave, my man, why are you in the car already? It's hours until game time.
Drew, it's because I'm stressed out right now, driving around downtown Winnipeg, looking for a parking spot, and I'm not finding one. I've lost Ginsburg. I don't even know where that guy is right now.
Dave, haven't I taught you anything? Do what I do. Pre-book your entire month's worth of game day parking with the Grid Park app. It's super easy to use and saves me both time and stress.
Well, Drew, I'm not independently wealthy like you are. So I'm sorry that I don't have millions of dollars to pre-book my parking month in advance. What's that going to cost you? $25?
How about $5?
Come on, $5? No way.
$5. I'm not telling you a lie. And our listeners can get a free park with the new special promo code Illegal Curve. Guess what? There's more.
Come on, there's more, Drew. You're lying to me. What more could there be?
Grid Park now has underground parking, so my car can stay warm during the game.
So wait a second. All the driving around I do, looking for parking, minus 40, you're telling me I could be toasty warm in a car after the hockey game?
That's exactly what I'm telling you. Underground parking. Just download the Grid Park app. That's GRYD Park and use the code Illegal Curve. All one word. You'll park for free your first time.
Hi, it's Drew from Illegal Curve here. Selling your home can be stressful, but it wasn't for me. Thanks to my friends at Zappia Group Realty, they made the process so easy. My home sold within 48 hours and with multiple offers. Zappia Group Realty took care of everything with their exquisite customer service and attention to detail. If you want to sell your home for more in less time, get started by talking to Frank and Mauro Zappia of Zappia Group Realty. Online at zappiagroup.com.
For 3 generations and over 80 years, Tough Duck has been making apparel that works and plays as hard as the people who wear it. From jackets to work boots and everything in between, Tough Duck's clothing can handle the harshest environments, even the Illegal Curve hockey show. Work to live, live to play. Visit toughduck.com.
Welcome back to the Illegal Curve postgame show. I'm Dave Minuk. He's Ezra Ginsburg. We're somehow making this thing a go-go. It's already an hour in. We're gonna do a longer show, postgame show than we did on the Illegal Curve hockey show with Jim Toth and I this morning. Well,
I gotta say that was weird to be watching our show, live on a Saturday. Like, it's just weird every time, but especially from Mexico, right?
Yeah,
like I almost wanted to jump in like poolside.
Well, Ezzy, you should have. I mean, Spencer Sutton had no problems jumping in poolside or hot tub side, I should say. So be like Spencer. Don't be like Ginsburg. Be like Spencer. And you guys are spirit animals. You should have been able to do it. Come on, Ez.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, sorry, I should have a bit of an admission. Excuse me, because T. Will's asking the question. So here's the problem with the Grid Park situation. Now, as everyone knows, my day was insane today, not a moment to myself. And I was, though, while I was sitting here talking to Ezzy, trying to edit the commercial because the outtake is like, it's total of about 6 minutes. And as much as I want to kill 6 minutes of your time, there's some funny elements of it. I don't know that it's 6 minute worthy. So unfortunately, the only negative is no show is more fitting than watching the stupidity of our acting than this show, unfortunately, but I just don't have it ready in times, unfortunately. So,
well, the best part, I don't like, we could tell people this because it's not like a state secret or anything like that.
Sure.
But we've had fun doing the commercials over the years, going back to the 1290 days, right? And especially now in this new format, we've been given even more, autonomy, if you want to call it that. But the funniest thing is, like, I was originally supposed to do that commercial. We were all going to do the commercial in our own respective cars, right? Because if you didn't know, if you haven't seen the commercial or you can't tell, you're in your car, Drew's at home. He was supposed to be in his car. So obviously Mindell, missed that memo that we were all supposed to be in our car. The whole point of it was, along the theme of the actual commercial was,
right.
We're supposed to all pretend like we're looking for a parking spot before the game. And I don't know what happened there. I for some reason I couldn't do the commercial, probably because Naomi was mad at me or something like that. But it turned out to be, I think, one of our best commercials. I'm kind of biased too. I love the Rollies transfer commercials. I like all of the commercials. I mean, the Les Rikus commercials are great. I mean, all of our sponsors have great commercials. But to me, that Grid Park commercial with you and Drew is just, it gets me laughing every single time. So that's what's funny about it, was that I was supposed to be in it, but it turned out to be way better without me.
Well, you were in it because I mentioned your name. I said, well, I've
Sure.
lost Ginsburg, and I do like how Turd Ferguson just highlighted the words acting, because that is a good point by Turd. Yeah, anything we do
It was
is
method acting, right, Dave?
It was, there was something method about it, but
Hold on, I forgot I have a Michelob Ultra here.
Maybe if method,
Let's get that.
Oh boy, this one's never coming to an end, folks. This one is
We're partying. I mean, like Spencer Sutton's expecting us at his place in a few minutes after the show's over. So
well, Spencer is asking
keep the party going, Dave.
Spencer's asking when his commercial is coming, and the amount of money he's donated, he's gonna have a commercial fairly soon. So we appreciate that.
It's in the works.
More importantly, and jokes aside, we do appreciate everybody joining us. It's your New Year's. You could spend your time elsewhere, but you're choosing to spend it with Ezzy and I. And so we very much appreciate your making that decision.
Michelob Ultra.
And Michelob Ultra,
It's not a sponsor, right, Dave?
They're not. No,
yet.
No, not yet.
Yet.
Not yet. No, that's true. We could go into the beer realm as well. We need someone to create an IC beer. Maybe a little IC. There is a Legal Curve wine.
I'm just saying, as far as local beers go, Kilter is my favorite.
Okay.
Well, so if Kilter's willing to hook us up, I'm all in.
Brian Harder says that the Grid Park commercial has a Seinfeld feel to it. That's kind of what I went for a little bit.
Yeah,
I try and do. I try and go for a little bit of.
We love Seinfeld. I mean, Seinfeld is responsible for, I would say, Dave, 90% of our jokes.
Yeah, I would
that we do.
No, I think that's.
Who expects an immigrant to have a pony? Todd Yak.
Is this what the show's descended to now? We're just doing Seinfeldisms?
Yes.
All right. Well, yeah, Spencer's making a good point. He's also choosing to still spend his time elsewhere, but he's still spending his time with us, with those other people. So we appreciated that. Yes, Phyllis, there's a winery out of BC that has Illegal Curve wine. Someone once bought me a bottle, so I've got a
what was it called? It was like something Brothers.
Yeah, Barton Brothers or something like that.
Let me Google it.
Yeah.
You keep talking, Dave, here, and I'm just.
Well, I'd rather you.
I'm going to Google Illegal Curve wine. If you Google Illegal Curve wine, Bartier Brothers comes up.
Bartier. See, I was close.
And this was, by the way, we weren't affiliated with this at all.
No.
Did you mention, Dave? You have a bottle of that.
I literally just said that.
Should we pop it?
No, and that's why I was going to say I'm glad you're doing the search in Google and not in my kitchen for the bottle that you could randomly find. And then, of course, next thing I know, I'm going to find all these bottles spread around my maison while Ezzy is given the run of. What do you keep doing?
What do people think of Michelob Ultra? I actually like it.
Someone said it was not a real.
I'll be honest, Dave. It was just the first beer in your fridge, so.
Yeah, that's fine. You know what it is? I'll say this.
Sleeman's in there as well.
Yeah, that's a good summer beer. It's a good summer beer.
Yeah.
So what else do you want to talk about?
Are we still live?
Who do you like?
Should we do the Tough Duck comment here?
Yeah, but the problem is you picked one that was so long ago, and I don't know how Mindell.
There's so much. So, we've been on for an hour and 13 here, and we had the telethon portion of the show. There's been a lot of different things happening here, Dave. We had the telethon portion of the show. We had the Spencer and the gang portion of the show.
Yeah.
We actually had the Jets portion of the show at some point.
Ezzy, I think Naomi did. Someone I've seen a lot of people saying Naomi's in the chat. You might be careful here.
Okay, where are you, Naomi?
Someone said that.
I'll be home soon. I love you.
Oh, guys, New Year's Eve, get Ezra the F home. Ezzy. so much for the show. Show's over and broadcast.
Hi, Naomi. I'm surprised that Naomi didn't put up like a different name. Like she went very formal there.
Yeah. Well, maybe she really wanted to let.
You should change your name to Ezra's Lover.
That's true, because she could have done that.
Shout out to Marshall Patterson, by the way. Happy New Year to Marshall Patterson. Even though, it's only 11 o'clock in the beautiful state of California. Met some good folks in California, by the way, in Mexico from Culver City. Hi, Naomi.
We're
going to have a little party. Sorry, Spencer. I'm going to have to go have a little party with my wife in at our home, but I still want to come to the hot tub if that's okay. Naomi, can I go to Spencer's house?
Phyllis is thanking Naomi. That should be good. Then, okay, good. Let's keep it rolling, Ed. So let's give the Tough Duck comment, toughest comment of the game. I'm not going to put it up because I don't know how Mindell searches and finds it.
Okay, well,
But,
I got the comment. I sent it to you in the private chat, Dave. So
yeah,
all
I
you
know,
have
I
to
know,
do
but
is-
I don't know how you find it. How do
Yeah,
you post it up?
That's
though?
fine. It's from 12:13 a.m.
Mhm.
It's 1 a.m.
Yeah.
This is awesome. I would say this is the best show we've ever done.
Oh, well,
Would you
there's
agree
no
with
question.
that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the comment is Joe from Winnipeg. Okay, shout
Here,
out
I'm
to
gonna
Joe.
I'm gonna put it out as if it's an illegal curve comment, and then I'll just highlight it, even though
There you
it's
go.
not really a legal
There you
curve.
go. That's good. You got the comment up there.
There you go.
Joe's a beauty. Joe's a good friend of the show. Joe's in here a lot of the time. So first off, lots of love to you, Joe. Happy New Year. I think this game was a perfect example of depth between two organizations. One, hold on.
Oh my God.
Excuse me. That's what happens when you're drinking beers.
By the way,
Dave.
Ezzy, just so you know, as an aside, Naomi's giving you permission to go. Of course, she does say
no, but
you have to.
Naomi definitely wants to come. Naomi, we
No,
have to get babysitter for Ruben.
She
and
actually said
Ariella.
after
That's
you
the problem.
fondle Dave, your first lover, go to the party.
Naomi's taking over. That's awesome.
Neo's in the
I
chit
can't
chat.
wait to get back home. We're gonna make
Oh,
out.
yeah. Okay, go on.
One is clearly lacking, and the other has enough to grind out wins when they don't deserve it. And honestly, like, we're having a good time here, and we're going to continue to have a good time for as long as we continue this show here. But I mean, that's completely right. I mean, the standout performances were obviously Connor Hellebuck, Neil Pionk, goal and an assist, Kyle Connor, goal and an assist. But we talked about it. Kevin Stenlund, David Gustafson, Christian Reichel picking up an assist. The contributions, we need to talk more about this. In addition to, we joke about, when we do the Manuk Moose minutes, obviously they're serious, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The depth in this organization, Dave, with all of the guys out of the lineup right now and the guys that are being plugged in, like, it's going to be tough to take Kevin Stenlund out of the lineup. He's playing that well. In addition to, as you always like to joke about, he looks a lot like Blake Wheeler being 6'4", wearing 28 instead of 26, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, Gus Bus was good tonight. Ville Heinola looked like he was going to have to, miss the rest of the game. He came back. He's playing some of the best hockey of his NHL career. But it's just really incredible what you're seeing, from some of these Moose players. They might not be getting on the score sheet every night, even though Christian Reichel did, as we mentioned. Right. But I mean, these guys are they're not just gap fillers. They're not just stand-ins. Like, these guys are playing really well. So Joe from Winnipeg, send me an email. I think you've already got my email, Ezra@illegalcurve.com. And we're going to send you a Tough Duck, Joe. Tough Duck Toque, Joe, I should say.
Yeah.
Love
you the whole company.
And Happy New Year. Yeah. I don't know if we've ever given Joe a Tough Duck Toque, have we?
I don't know. Maybe Joe can answer that in the chat. We'll find out. We will. I think maybe you have, but as you're the one.
Not this year. Not this year.
Yeah.
Maybe last year.
And I will say
last year. What was last year? 2021.
Yes.
Or 2022. I forget.
Well, 21,
2024 now, right?
Oh boy. But what I was going to say is, sometimes I love when people will say, like, well, I've got the old illegal curve Tukes from the game-winning goals and the ICOT pools.
Does Mary Jane practice what she preaches, by the way? That was a little joke there.
That was a good.
Maybe she doesn't inhale. I don't know. Last Dance.
Oh man, this is quite a show. And again, we thank everyone for.
Is Naomi still here?
No, I think she's gone. So we're free to get. We're free. We're good. We're rolling.
I hope she didn't go to bed, or it's going to be a pretty lonely New Year's party at my house.
Oh yeah,
that's why I got to go to Spencer and the gang's house in Sage Creek.
Yeah, that's fine.
By the way, I've only been to Sage Creek once in my life.
Yeah.
And I almost got lost, like that area, because it's a new area, and there's all those. Have you ever been there, Dave? There's a lot of roundabouts.
Yes.
So if we go to Spencer Sutton's obviously palatial mansion, I'm assuming it's at least 5,000 square feet.
Sure.
We'll need directions, because Sage Creek, I'm telling you, it's like Bridgewater. There's all these like new streets, and
it's actually amazing. It's really cool though. There's this technology in your phone. You type in an address, and then it takes you right there.
No, but the roundabouts, I'm telling you, I don't
think it keeps telling you to go around.
No, but the River Heights roundabouts are to slow down traffic. And so you've got them on Grosvenor and Kingsway and everything like that. But you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, wait a second.
Sage Creek, wait a second. Like
Spencer doesn't.
I have no idea what's going on in Sage Creek.
It doesn't matter. Spencer doesn't live in Sage Creek. I know he doesn't live in Sage Creek because he sent me his address, and he's saying that he's actually at a buddy's house.
Okay.
So I know where Spencer lives. I don't want to reveal.
No, I'm not. By the way, I'm not knocking Sage Creek. It's a really nice area.
No, it's all good.
I just
You hate
I
Sage
don't
Creek.
really. I'm
It's all
not
good.
familiar with it. I'm used to. This is the thing. I grew up in River Heights.
You
The
did.
mean streets of River Heights.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Well, I walked the mean streets of River Heights every day to Kelvin High School.
Okay.
But I'm used to the grid system. River Heights is Corridon, Grosvenor, Academy. It's just streets. It's like old school, 1950s, 1920s, even in where we are right now, North River Heights.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like it's a simple grid system, old school neighborhood. Just not used to these new suburban gentrified neighborhoods, Dave.
Man, I didn't know I was dealing with a landscape architect.
Yeah,
here.
we're gonna get John Arlico on the show.
Oh man, what do you want to talk about next, Des? I mean, we've done the Jets game.
Whatever, man.
That's done. Should we? Well, I mean, we kind of have no choice.
Good song, by the way, by Redman. Whatever, man.
Method.
Remember
Well,
that
I did mention Method Man earlier today. So I mean, Redman, Method Man, kind of all works together, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, I tend to. Hold on, what's that sound? Des? I hear some. Do you hear something? Hold on, what's that sound?
Put on your antlers. It's time for the Minuk Moose Minute on the Illegal Curve Hockey Show.
Best intro in sports and entertainment.
Yes, it is. It is. The Moose were up against the Abbotsford Canucks today in Winnipeg. Huge crowd, 6,000, between 6,000 and 6,500 in
Awesome.
attendance at Canada Life for the New Year's Eve game. Going into the game, I didn't know this. Dave Turnbull, the PA announcer, had this interesting stat.
Love Dave Turnbull.
Maybe it proved to be, a poor one to give up before the game. But coming into today's game, the Moose had won 9 straight, which obviously dates back to the Moose 1.0, 9 straight New Year's Eve games at home. And they were 13-4 overall in home games on New Year's Eve. So the Moose like playing generally at New Year's Eve. And it looked like they might be okay today because they started off the game well, kind of like the Jets, to be honest with you. They didn't really get much in the way of shots. And you know what? You got to give the Moose, I mean, again, I'm not here to make excuses for the team, but you got to give them a little bit of slack because with the Jets being where they are in terms of their current lineup, the Moose, of course, are lacking in terms of players that they have to call upon. So
Like,
really
seriously, who's next? Like, is Wyatt Bongiovanni going to be playing for the Jets next week?
Well, I mean, I don't
Like,
think so.
The way things are going.
They've only got the Jets. The Moose only have 5 NHL contracts right now. Like Jeff Malott, Dominic Toninato, Alex Limoges, Daniel Torgerson, and Henry Nikkanen. Those are the only 5.
And Daniel Torgerson and Henry
four-
Nikkanen are obviously like this is their first full year in the AHL.
Right. Yeah. So and then
it's
and then
crazy,
obviously-
but that's how far down the depth chart we are right now, Dave.
No, I know. It's unbelievable. So hold on. Is T. Konopoli still here? I need to know if T.
hope so.
Konopoli still here.
I can tell you this much. I know Transcona is partying tonight.
Well, they're always. Alan wants you to wave, Ezzy.
Who wants me to wave?
Alan.
Okay.
But do you think he wants you to do the wave, or do you think he wants you to wave? Anyways,
what's up, Alan?
I don't know.
Happy New Year! Happy New Year to Alan. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year to Dave Turnbull.
I don't know if T.
Red
Konopoli.
River Creecom together.
I saw T. Konopoli.
Bombers.
There's T. Hold on, T. Konopoli is here.
There we
He
go.
just said.
Shout out to Happy New Year to the entire area of Transcona, not the
There you go.
area.
What about the Whistle Pig?
The city
Which
of
is-
Transcona,
which is
It's
no
a
longer
city.
there.
Transcona is a city within a city. Shout out and Happy New Year to all the flamingos in Transcona.
There we go. T. Kona's always partying, according to T. Konopoli. And T. Konopoli would have been partying with some of the big hits that Tyrell Bauer was laying out. And
Speaking of tough as nails,
just to show
he's a
people
big
that
boy.
I'm a man of the people, and I know that T. Konopoli was in the show this morning with assistant coach Nolan Baumgartner, but I actually said I have to ask you about one of these players specifically for someone in our chat, and everybody started laughing in the chat because they knew who I was going to ask about. And so we got some insight from Nolan Baumgartner on Tyrell Bauer. I was going to say on T. Konopoli, but I don't know how Nolan Baumgartner would give an assessment on T. Kona, but he did give one on Tyrell Bauer, the 2026 rounder for the Winnipeg Jets. But he's laying the body, and it's funny because after what Nolan Baumgartner said about him, I watched him throughout the course of the game to see how quick he was with, puck retrieval and making that first pass rather than sitting on it. But anyways, Moose went up 1-0 on a goal from Cole Meyer. Coincidentally, someone I asked
Lunch pail line.
the lunch pail line. Thank you, Az, for using it. But the point is that Cole Meyer got things started. Kind of an unusual, kind of like went like this. The puck went up. He kind of launched the puck forward. Evan Poli received it, and
The
then he
old
put
Nelson
it over.
Emerson, Dave.
Yeah, it was unexpected, and then he put it home to make it a 1-0 game. The Canucks would tie the game, and then Evan Poli on a beautiful play. Nicholas Jones, you just see the hustle, and that's the one thing. And Evan Poli was pretty honest after the game. He said our team just didn't have it. We just didn't. He said our line was good, but our team didn't have it, and he's not wrong. But he's an honest guy, and that's what you expect from him. And so it was 2-1 for the Manitoba Moose, and it looked like they were gonna, maybe win a game they didn't deserve necessarily to win. Where have we seen that before, Ez? And the Canucks managed to tie the game 2-2 after 2. I think it was 2-2 after 2. Or maybe no, it might have been 2-1. I don't. Ez. Honestly, if I remember my name at the end of today, I'll be happy, because it has been a long, long day. But the point is,
my eyes are open. That's why I'm doing that, Dave. People are saying that my eyes are not open under these glasses. They are partially open.
There you go. Anyways, it was 2-2 after 2. I am right. And then it was interesting, though, because with about a minute to go in the second period, the Canucks took a shot that beat Salmonen, but he actually
hold on. Put up that comment by Spencer Sutton. I'm sorry. Tonight is all about Spencer Sutton. Okay, put him up. Spencer and the gang. Let's go.
Well, I mean, it's topical. I'm not just putting up random comments. He's saying I'm about to go all Tyrell Bauer in the streets of Sage Creek. LOL. There we go. Oh, there we got. Oh, let's give Doug a little dap here. Thank you, Doug. Happy New Year from St. Clements.
Happy New Year. Yeah, St. Clements.
Good
folks in St. Clements. I don't know anybody, but I know they're good folks.
There you go. Do you know Bill Clement?
I don't.
Really?
No.
Anyways, point is, the Moose were in the game. They may not have deserved to be in the game. Actually could have taken the lead, because they came very close. Jeff Malott, after he left the penalty box and early in the third, almost scored. Puck got in behind Arthur Seelovs, but he was able to cover it. And then the Winnipegger, Jet Wu, on a bit of a mistake by they didn't have the strongest game. 2017 and 2018 fifth rounders Leon Gavanke and Declan Chisholm. The mistake was mostly Gavanke's, because Chisholm was left to defend a 2-on-1, and it was a nice drop pass. And Jet Wu, the Winnipegger, got the game-winning goal, which turned out to be the game-winning goal.
U16 Team Manitoba captain.
There you go. So it was never dispute the knowledge of someone who works for Hockey Manitoba. And so it's 3-2 for the Abbotsford Canucks. And then the Moose didn't have it going on, because they gave up 2 empty net goals, 4-2, 5-2, and that was the final. But more unusually, the Moose, it's kind of like that game against Milwaukee where the Moose didn't give up a single shot. The Moose had 3 shots totaled in the third period. And once they were down 3-2, they took a shot about 33 seconds after Jet Wu scored. And then they didn't have a shot for the remaining 9 minutes and 18 seconds of the third period, despite the fact that they were trailing, and despite the fact that they had a 6-on-5 twice.
Like Cole Meyer said, I mean, sometimes you just don't have it. And you have so many players that are up with the Jets right now. I mean, that's the unfortunate situation,
Absolutely.
Right? And I'm sure you talked to Nolan Baumgartner about that.
For sure.
It has to be that next man up mentality. And it's not that the Moose are still having a great season. I mean, they're second in the Central, right?
From a winning
percentage,
technically they're fourth from a points perspective, but from a winning percentage, they were second. They may have slipped to third.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be a playoff team. I think there's no question about that they should be a playoff team. And eventually they are going to get bodies back, right? But I mean, Abbotsford's a pretty good team, so you got to give them credit for how they played, right?
Well, absolutely. And look, I think people are starting to lose some steam in the show. So we'll quickly mention that. So the Moose lost. They're actually going to head out on the road for 6 games. Interesting report quickly. We'll get to that from the 32 Thoughts broadcast tonight on Hockey Night in Canada, talking about what the Jets might do with, it wasn't Jets specific. It was talking about what some of the NHL teams will do with their players who are at World Juniors. And there was some talk, the Jets haven't decided, but there is contemplation evidently that Brad Lambert and Chaz Lucius could head to Seattle and Portland. That would be Brad Lambert going to Seattle, and that would be Chaz Lucius going to Portland. after their World Junior tournaments are over. So the Jets
What
are
about
set
that?
to
What
be.
about that loss to Slovakia?
Well, are we gonna? Do you want to talk about that now?
I don't know. That's awesome. I'm sorry if there's American fans out there, but I mean, everybody saw the Slovakians partying after. I mean, that was a pretty awesome come from behind win.
Here's the line. The Winnipeg Jets, even though these two players have played all season in the AHL Manitoba, the team has not ruled out sending them back to junior. Lambert's rights are held by Seattle. Chaz Lucius would become a Portland Winter Hawk. So,
Both of those teams we should mention, Dave, are the top teams in the American division. But aside from the Winnipeg Ice, I believe, are the Ice ranked number 1 or number 2? Regardless of where they're ranked,
the Ice are 1. Yeah. The Ice are 1. Yeah, and they swept the Saskatoon Blades.
Yeah,
so they're
also
they're
give a
first
shout
in
out
the
to Dante Januzzi, goaltender, who having a good season for the Portland Winterhawks. Good friend of the
There you
show.
go.
Gotta get that in there.
Yeah.
The
Maven Richard Lapp, who I saw in the press box today.
Happy New Year, Richard Lapp. Good guy.
He knows more about junior hockey than anyone. He told me there were 4 Winnipeggers that are connected to Portland. So there you go. And Portland is coming to play the Ice. I think he said, I think Portland and Seattle are both going to be here. Or maybe it's
both of those teams.
I think they're coming in middle of January.
Yeah, the Seattle Thunderbirds are considered, I think, the biggest threat to the Ice in the WHL, from what I've been told.
Seattle. I think it's Seattle.
That's
I think
what I said, right?
Oh yeah, I think it's Portland, but Seattle's the top team out west.
Yeah, Reed Schaefer, Kevin Kurchinski. I mean, they're stacked.
Yeah, both teams, both the Ice and Seattle are loading up, so it'll be it seems like it's playing out to be a battle. And the Moose, Saskatoon came in here and Moose beat them both games. And I think Saskatoon was the third best team in the East, and they actually have a pretty good record. They weren't that far behind Winnipeg. So 2 big wins for the Winnipeg Ice. And hey, as final winner of 2022, and just because this is the final winner of 2022, fear not, my friends. 2 things. First of all, Frosty Winnipeg, I'm not happy. I don't know how you guessed. Like, you must be cheating, because somehow Frosty, and I don't know how.
No, Frosty's a savant.
Well, he didn't get the last one. He didn't get the last one because I went very the last couple as I've gone very off the board random. Actually, my Minnesota one wasn't that random, but the Vancouver one was a good one. But all I know is that somehow Frosty, and I'm checking to see if I know Bailey was asking for clues. So we'll see if Frosty gave her any or anybody else any of the clues for the.
Are you talking about there might be a little IC merchandise contest collusion?
Well, it's not really collusion, because everybody ultimately gets the code word, and there's no advantage to getting the code word early because I've already picked the winner for the merchandise.
So what you're saying is what I just said is not a rational thought.
No, but that's kind of usually what I'm saying about your slots. So I'm all good. But Ezzy, here we go. Let's give me a drum roll. Okay. Yep. Only drum one person. Roll. That would be Frosty. No, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how he gets into the mind of Manuk. It's a scary place to be, but somehow Frosty was the only one who managed to guess the unique code word. Unique code word is, should we start with the unique code word as? What do you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, we'll start with, it is Festival City. Why is it the Festival City? Because apparently Edmonton is in fact the Festival City. They have many, many festivals. I mean, we have the Fringe Festival, which I'm a big fan of. We have Folk Festival. We have Folklorama, Jazz Fest.
Yeah.
Why is Winnipeg not called the Festival City? We've got lots of festivals.
Yeah, but Edmonton's also got a folk festival and a jazz festival.
That's true. It's the same one.
Apparently, lots of other festivals.
Yes. So they are known as the Festival City. Well done,
hold on a second. We forgot one of the biggest festivals in Winnipeg. Festival de Voyageurs.
Yes, that is a good point. That's a very
coming
good point.
Up, by the way.
Yeah, isn't it? It's February though, right?
Yep.
So the unique code word is Festival City, and just so folks know, because technically, the contest ended, but I'm going to still be able to pick a winner, because what we're going to do is I'm going to run this one for a couple of days, and then we'll pick the winner of the grand prize. So this is basically to get your entries in. I mean, all your entries for December will count for the grand prize, but this one would normally technically not really count for anything, but now at least it'll count towards the grand prize. So Festival City is the unique code word, and the winner who keeps asking me if he has won the contest. And I'm proud to announce this person as the winner. And I see that he's in the chat. Alan
Here it comes.
Lasco.
Yes.
Well done, Alan.
It's about time.
Alan asks all the time, is he the winner? Is he the winner? Well,
Alan's
Alan,
hilarious. He sends us like DMs, and he's always in the chat. Love it. Happy New Year, Alan.
See, and Alan's now asking a good question, and I created a bit of a problem, folks, because he can't enter the unique code word because the contest ended. I'll see if I can go in right now.
But Alan won. What are you talking about?
No, I know, but technically, Ezzy, because the contest was only supposed to run till the end of December.
Hold on,
so now,
is this like Y2K when when the clock turns to
that's exactly what this is.
Nobody's computer works?
Yes, that's exactly what this is. So I'm going to see if I can edit the dates of the contest to let it run 2 more days. But congrats, Alan. Everybody in the chat is happy that Alan is our big winner of the contest. So congratulations, Alan.
Love it.
Well done. You are the winner. I will be in touch with you. I will be in touch with, I've been getting a hold of some people, dropping some stuff off. Don't worry if you haven't gotten your merch. It's all accounted for. I've got everything, everybody's name. I will get it to you, or I will put it in the mail. So do not worry. There's lots of people in the chat who are still waiting for their stuff.
Well, Spencer's also waiting for us to come to that hot tub in Sage Creek.
Well,
apparently his buddy makes wine, and there's over 300 bottles there.
Really?
So let's wrap this up, Dave.
So what you're saying is it's time to go.
Yeah, Big Daddy has a party to go to.
All right. Well,
Naomi gave me permission.
She did. We do. Oh, hold on a second. Let me see, folks. I am about to single-handedly make this work. If I can make this work, let's see. Hold on. Let's see if I can save this. If I can save this, can I save Christmas? Let's find out. I did. Okay, folks. Now the campaign is running till January 2nd. So you should be able to enter the unique code word. I saved it all, folks. We're good. Enter your unique code word, and we'll do that grand prize draw for tickets. Oh, Naomi's.
By the way, also, if we save Christmas, we're Jewish, Dave. So if we're Jewish, if we save Christmas, that's going to be like the best thing in the world.
You got to stop. Your wife is now telling you, tarps off. Take it off, Big Daddy.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You don't want to know why it's not going to happen? Because my tarp was off the entire time I was in Mexico.
Yeah.
I didn't even get into this because somebody was saying like I should wax my chest or something like that.
Okay.
Naomi neared my back before we went, but no, I'm not doing tarps off.
Oh man, Naomi's really getting into it now, but I can't put up that last one. This is IC After Dark after all. But
I think Naomi wants me to wrap this up so we can.
Okay.
I think she's looking for a little one-on-one time with Big Daddy. That's what I think is happening here.
Oh man, this show is officially off the rails. But hey, Dan Jets fan just put it best.
Michelob Ultra, baby.
The show is off the
official beer of hipsters everywhere.
Okay, so Phyllis is confirming now. The contest is working. I'm glad to hear that. So everybody get your unique code word in. I'm going to put it back up so people know.
Was Mendel drinking bourbon, by the way, on any of the shows? He loves to sip that bourbon in Kentucky.
He did wear a hat at one point.
I saw that hat. Indiana Mendel, right?
Yeah. I should have changed his name.
He should wear that hat every show. That's a beautiful hat.
Yes, I agree.
And it really suits him too. I'm not even joking.
No,
he could walk around. He could go into work at Rumors, and nobody would think it was weird. It could be like a daily hat for him.
Okay, well there you go.
Maybe, I don't know.
All I know is the fact that people sat with us for the last hour and 40 minutes almost throughout this
the entire
rambling,
Curve
incoherent screed that you and I have somehow called an Illegal Curve Hockey postgame
Dave,
show.
Hey, that's what happens when I get into Winnipeg at 8:30 and I have a few beers and we get these donations.
Wow. Hold on. Spency with another donation. Thank you again, Spencer. But he's saying that you have to go to Festival de Voyageur with him because it is his jam.
I love Festival. Remember a few years back, this is going way back, maybe 7 or 8 years when I did the media wing of the beard growing competition.
Yes.
I love Festival.
I remember that.
I've been going to Festival since I was a kid. Absolutely love the Francophone community that we have here in Winnipeg.
Yeah,
I do have a French immersion diploma from Calvin High School, so no big deal. I parle français if you want to parle un petit peu. Should I phone my mom? So Spencer, we're going to do it. We're going to rent a stretch limo. We're going to do it up real big this year. But my kids are going to come too, so we're going to have to keep it a little bit, we'll have to have Paw Patrol playing or something like that. And we're going to have lots of juice boxes and granola bars and goldfish.
There we go. Ezzy, this has been one hell of a show. It's been one hell of a year.
It's been something, Dave. It's definitely been something.
It's been one hell of a year. And the chat is what makes it live and die for us, because the reality is, if we were on our old terrestrial radio, we would have, clocked out.
We would have been fired by now. That's what the CRTC would have actually shut down the radio station.
Yeah.
Before Bell did it without telling anybody. I still can't believe that was real. Was that real?
I was talking about it with
someone. That real? Did that actually happen? Like they literally in the middle of, was it the Big Show? Or I forget, but it was.
By the way, Spencer says Ruben's going to learn some things.
Yeah. He's got the spelling right there. Love it.
Impressive. No, I mean, look, but I'm just saying that the beauty of the comments, the chat, and the hilarity that ensues as a result is the fact that, we do. I mean, the reality is, if our show was limited to a certain time frame, we would, be out and we'd just go about our day. But instead, here we go. Well, we weren't fired.
Dave, time is just a construct.
Doug, just for sake of clarity, we weren't fired. The station was fired. TSN decided.
Well, it's the best thing. It's the best thing that has ever happened. Like, ask Remus, ask Huss.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just turned into. It's turned. You know what it's done? It's just made the community of people that love the Jets, love talking hockey. It's just made it even better, right? Like, so we don't.
No. You can't.
We don't need Bell.
You can't even. I mean, although they still owe us money, so that's maybe I should.
It's true, they do.
Yeah, and I've got a check for probably a post game that you did that never got cashed. But other than that, things are great. We never worked for that. We were independent, Doug. Just Doug's asking, who do we work for? We were independent contractors, so we had it. We worked.
Well,
for
we have
ourselves.
overlords. We have overlords that we.
No, we had time on TSN. We didn't work for them. We worked kind of.
We were independent. We were yes. We weren't employees. We weren't employees of Bell Media.
Basically everybody but us were Bell Media.
We were always
employees.
Independent, but we were I mean, when I did.
We
did the draft. I guess that was technically for Bell, but we were always independent.
But we were still paid as independent contractors.
Independent, baby.
Yeah. But to be honest with you, that's the reason why, if you remember, that they shut the radio station down on a Tuesday, and I talked to Drew and Ezzy, and the comment was, "We're not missing a beat," and because we had the infrastructure in place. The reality was that we never had to.
We had the IC Mafia behind us. That's what we.
Well, had. we had the IC infrastructure already set.
We had Spencer and the gang behind us. That's who we had.
There you go. So the point is that we were able to, be up and running on that Saturday, and not missing an Illegal Curve hockey show. And then we decided to add the Illegal Curve postgame show. And now it's 1:30 in the morning in 2023, and here we are talking to 200 of you. And Ezzy's
Let's go. We got to spark one up and head over to Spencer's, Dave. Let's go.
Well, we'll see what we can do. Oh, Alan L is saying the CTV decision desk is declaring that Ezzy is sober. Wow, I don't know.
Funny.
That is a good one. Anyways,
apologies to Glenn Murray.
And see, Phyllis makes a good point. You can listen to this and watch it any time of the day or night. It is the best. And that is the nicest thing, that people, in the chat get a chance to, if you can't join us live, watch the replay, download the podcast. And, we appreciate whenever you do that. So, Frosty, do you want to throw those sponsors back up in the comments? Because I think you did about an hour ago when I should have ended the show. Instead, Ezzy and I have done officially, there's been a few official, newest thing we've ever done. One of them of which was bringing someone from the chat on the show. I can't wait till Drew gets to see that little nug. Should we tell Drew, or should we just let him discover it naturally? There's that thing. And then, of course, this is officially the longest Illegal Curve postgame show in the history of time. Longer than all the ones where we had 1,000 people in the chat because we were doing the playoff games. But, no Kenny and Rennie today. Kenny and Rennie sound like they're going to do something tomorrow. So we could just keep on rolling. But we do need
to. They have a New Year's Eve party to go to. Or they're at that party probably right now. That's why they're not doing the show. They're partying.
But in addition to thanking all of you, we're going to thank all of our sponsors who make the Illegal Curve postgame show, the Illegal Curve Saturday show, and our website, illegalcurve.com, a possibility. They are Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club, Linden Market Dental Center, Zappia Group Realty, Betway, Tough Duck, Boston Pizza, Seagram's, Rollies Transfer, and Grid Park. Support these fine businesses because of their continued support of the Illegal Curve Hockey Show. As D'Lo says, Happy New Year. All the best.
Honestly, though, Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you for sticking with us. Thanks for watching all year long. Like, it's 1:30 in the morning, and you're partying with Illegal Curve right now after a big Jets win in Edmonton. So we love each and every one of you. Honestly, you have no idea how much we appreciate your support. And big things are coming this year in 2023. We're going to continue to give away Jets jerseys, Jets merch. We're going to continue to give away Tough Duck toques. And we have a few more things too, Dave, that we haven't even announced that we're going to be giving away. Oh, in addition to Jets tickets, NHL tickets. I mean, it could go on here. Like, we're going to give, there's really no limit to the stuff we can give away, is there?
There you go. As he always hits it out of the park, as he always does. And thanks again to everybody joining us. It's been a long day, starting, of course, with the Illegal Curve Hockey Show. We've got all the Jets and Moose and Ice coverage either on illegalcurve.com right now or in tomorrow's notes, which I'm going to start writing in about 10-15 minutes once I kick Ezzy out of the house. But again, thank you everyone for joining us for the Illegal Curve Hockey Show. We are back in business Tuesday night when the Jets host the Calgary Flames. Maybe there'll be some news in between then and now and then. If there is, of course, go to illegalcurve.com. But for Ezra Ginsburg, I am Dave Minuk. You have been listening, you have been watching, you have been participating in the Illegal Curve post-game show. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year, everybody.
And we will
enjoy.
See you
be
guys
safe. Be well
on Tuesday. Have a good night.